Video coverage of IT Expo is brought to you by Content Boost, the content marketing specialists. Amplify your sales today.
Hi, Eric Linask here at IT Expo in Miami. Talking with me on today's program is Chad Jones from Xively. Chad, great to see you.
Great to see you as well, Eric.
So one of the terms that's been popping up more and more, has been very prevalent here at this week's show already, Internet of Things. Tell me, what do you see with IoT and specifically what's that doing, what's Xively doing around IoT?
Right, you know, Internet of Things is an interesting term. It's everywhere. It's kind of the term du jour, if you will, for this next paradigm shift in the internet. But, you know, at Xively, we kind of feel that the Internet of Things is irrelevant. Good night. What I mean by that is that simply internet connecting something doesn't really do much for you. It gives you a little bit of interesting data, and that's great. But at Xively, we like to think of things more in a larger scope. What is the overall experience? What's the business goal that you're going to achieve by doing these things? If you start there and then work back to fill the technology into it, then you're really going to have something that transforms business. So Xively really has an approach that's more of an open source approach, because there's already thousands of platforms out there and tons of innovation that you can leverage if you have the right approach. So being able to take all of those types of devices and platforms and bring them together into a meaningful cloud, collect their data, and then normalize that through an API so any sort of application can use it, and do that in a way that's very cost effective, you get to an end result that accelerates whatever that business would like to do in their end experience, optimize their operations, create connected products, and then you end up with something that's truly transformative, not just interconnected.
So when you talk about connecting to and deriving information from all those devices, what devices specifically are you talking about?
Right, so there are the old and the new.
Sure.
Right? So there are, first of all, enabling platforms like comes from Atmel or Marvell or ARM. You know, we can go down the list of all of them. We happen to work with all of those, attaching different levels of sensors and things like that. But for the new, you know, I can go out and create a brand new connected object. I can create a brand new connected water cooler or a brand new internet connected tractor and pull all of this information that comes out of it and use it that way. But also there's a huge amount of existing things that are out there. Existing pumping systems, for example, might be 10 years old, but you know, if that pump is still soldiering on, you know, in its life cycle. But now if I could just add a way to get data out of that and see its flow and control it and turn it on and off, I actually can increase the value of that device and extend its life cycle as well. So there's the devices themselves, the enabling platforms, but then there's how you apply that to all sorts of things in our world. It literally could be everything you see around us.
So you touched on a trend that I've been seeing a fair amount across technology industries lately. You know, an awful lot of innovation, a lot of new exciting and interesting things happening. But at one point, it comes down to, well, everybody's still got all these old technologies or products that they use, devices that they've got in use, and you just can't really make the real business case for getting rid of it because it still works.
Sure.
So if you've got that ability to bring in the new while still leveraging old, that's the trend that I'm talking about, and that really helps increase ROI and lower TCO of all of your existing stuff.
Absolutely, and old is a relative term as well. Certainly in internet terms, you know, if it's 3 weeks old, it's old. You know? But there are things that, you know, you can go back 5, 10 years, like the pump example I said. But you know, businesses might have made a decision that they want to use a particular platform and have a particular object in V1, but it's not the best thing for their business in V2, and it's only, you know, a few months old. Well, being able to add in another whole set of platforms into that same solution is important as well. It gives you the ability to pivot very quickly. You know, our solution allows you to do that as well.
When you say your solution is going to help businesses transform themselves, what do you mean by that?
So today there's an element of connecting with people. There's a lot of things that are automated inside of business motions, things like Salesforce.com and Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Marketing Cloud. There's business motion there. I just have to tell it to what to do, right? But there's a human in between whatever that world of data is that triggers that business motion that actually causes some inefficiency. Now, we certainly don't want to have rise of the machines and completely cut humans out, right? But what you can do with our solution is bridge that gap. So create a whole set of objects that are pumping data back into our system, and 99.9% of that data is just, hey, great, everything's okay, let's record that for historical sake, but there's that one time when an event comes that says, oh, I noticed something here, let's put that out to Salesforce and kick off a Service Cloud ticket and kick off that service motion. Now, the data that it can report into Service Cloud can be quite astonishing in its effects. So, I'll give you an example. We work with a biomedical company that has reagents inside of a refrigerator that they put out at big pharma labs. Now, on the sales side, they know exactly who is taking out what reagent out of this biomedical refrigerator. Okay, great, I can keep the stock up, all of those sorts of things. I can see what's being used and what's not being used, because this ends up being about $500,000 worth of product in this refrigerator. But then at the same time, I'm watching what the refrigerator's actual motion is itself, what's its health status, because if a pump goes down and that fridge dies, I lose a lot of money. So if I start seeing that a chiller starts pulling more energy, but is keeping the temperature going up and up and up, then I know there's a problem. I can get on that predictively before the whole fridge goes down. But most importantly, I know that if a scientist is using a certain reagent line, well, you know what? They're probably going to do a next level of an experiment or a parallel experiment that I have an opportunity to sell them a whole other line of reagents. So now I can market to them, send them an email, but it's very targeted. They don't feel like they're being marketed to. They're like, wow, they just knew that I'm going down this next path and they're meeting my needs. So all of a sudden, that cooperative changes between the business and the end customer, and now they become a trusted member of that process. That's truly transformative.
Question is, how did they know? But we'll leave that for another day. Chad, it was great having you on the program. Thanks for joining us.
Video coverage of ITEXPO is brought to you by Content Boost, the content marketing specialists. Amplify your sales today.